Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute, but even though it has been a while, it does not mean I have stopped playing. So with this being said, we're going to get right into the video, and we're going to make a tier list about the mage templates, dexter templates, and all the templates about PvP. So, and let's go ahead and get started.
Splintered and Deathstruck.
Alright, so today we are going to be fixated on my Mystic Mage. He hasn't had a suit update in a very long time because he just doesn't need it. This is going to be his skills on the left side. We have Mage, Eval, just the basic stuff. So you want to be kind of like a hybrid. So if you're running both skills here, so you got Magery and Mysticism. And the spells that you do want to use, I do have some pulled out over here, right? And I also, let me see if I can find my Mysticism, right? So, the spells you do want to use primarily, field fighting, 1v and 1v1s, it's all going to be different. We're mainly going to be talking about field fighting. This is about 4v4s, this is about 3v3s, maybe even get even higher than that, where it goes 6v6, 6v8, anything higher than that, it's pretty much a Zerg at that point, right? So, and if you don't know what a Zerg is, it's like if you have 4 people and the other guild or enemy team, double your numbers. So 4 versus 8, something. So, that's what we're going to be talking about today, is about the field fighting on this template here, my Mystic Mage. I'm not really going to be diving into suit depth, because there's different ways you can build it. The best way I can explain how to build it would be just be like, okay, this is what you're going to need here. So if you pull up your status bar, right, you're going to need to hit criteria. So if you're building wrestling, you're going to have to go 45 hit chain. If you're building a defensive Mystic Mage, or any mage at all with defensive wrestling, don't know what defensive wrestling is, I'll quickly go into it. It is going to have eval at 120, and then you're going to have anatomy at 120. So if my anatomy, backtrack just a little bit. Your anatomy will be 100 and your eval will be 120. That is called defensive wrestling. You cannot do anything at that point. You can't disarm them, you can't paralyze them. No, you can do none of that. That's why it's called defensive wrestling. It's only used to have the quote-unquote same weapon skill as your opponent. There's a equation here. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. I'll probably put it in the bottom right corner or something like that, or somewhere here on the screen, so that way you guys can see the equation and you can understand what I'm getting at. Now, with that being said, enough getting off topic here. This is my Mystic Mage. We have Magery, Eval, Mysticism and Focus, Parry, Wrestle, and Resist. Now, the Magery and Eval, that comes standard. Obviously, you want to cast Mini Heal, you want to cast Greater Heal, you want to cast Arch Cure if you need it, and you can also go big with Explosion and Flame Strike with some pretty decent combos, right? Now that you add Mysticism in the mix, it adds some even better combos. So you can, instead of getting a G Heal, you get a Cleansing Winds here, and instead of like going Flame Strike, you can follow up a Spell Plague. And Spell Plague, what that does is, it does chaos damage to your opponent. You can go Explosion if you're loading big, and then you can follow up with a second spell like Spell Plague. Or if you're dropping Explosion and your team is getting, like, if you're on the defense, you just load up a Cleansing Winds just so that they don't die, you know? If you don't know what Cleansing Winds does, it's just a greater heal. It gets rid of debuffs, and it heals you. It gets rid of debuffs like Mortal Strike, Poison, even like anything on my debuffs bar. So like if I cast Curse, I can cast Cleansing Winds, it'll just get rid of it. Simple as that. The more debuffs I have, the less it's going to heal for me, right? So if I cast Curse, I cast Poison on myself. See if I can get Poison off. Let me resist. So then I cast it, it heals me for 34. Rather, if I just have Curse on me, it heals me for 41. So the more debuffs that is on your character, the less it's going to heal you. But you just continue to follow it up with Cleansing Winds continuously, you'll get rid of all their debuffs, you'll get rid of their DP, you'll get rid of the poison, you'll get rid of the Mortal Strike. It's a very good spell, very good tool to have whenever you're playing this. Always be on a macro, no matter what. I don't think you should replace it if you have Greater Heal. I think you should just add it on, because Greater Heal is still good. Greater Heal is just slightly faster. So if the enemy team doesn't have like a Poisoner or anything like that, you can just go for a Greater Heal instead of a Cleansing. That makes sense. If you're also in the field fight, more tools and utility that the Mystic does have in the field fight is Bombard. Now, when you cast called Spell Trigger, so if you go to Spell Trigger here, it'll pull up a little menu, and the only way you can get all the spells for the Spell Trigger is having 120 Mystic and 120 Focus. It does not have to be real. It can be bonus skill. I think I have some bonus skill. Yeah, see, I have bonus 30 Focus on my Jewel set. So it does not need to be real skill. It just needs to be 120, 120. You could even have the plus 10 Mystic Spellbook, like I used to, and you could throw it on there and make it 120 if my mysticism was 1. So that way you could throw the book in your hand, cast Spell Trigger, then once you cast Spell Trigger, it's going to give you this menu, and you can pick anything from this menu if you're 120, 120. Pick Cleansing Winds, or you can pick Bombard. That's usually the most two popular ones. Cleansing Winds is a good defensive tool. So say if you go Cleansing Winds, right, you put it on your teammate, you could follow it up immediately with a second Cleansing Winds, no cast time needed. So say like I cast the Cleansing Winds, the first one, I go for the second one, I target myself. There is a double follow-up on the Cleansing Winds. It's very good. Not very many people use this. More people used it, it would get very annoying. But at the same time, you only get one use. So if you notice right here, this little purple gem, that is my Spell Trigger. That lets me know if I have one up or not. So if I have a Spell Trigger up, it'll go to 1. If I don't have one, it'll go to 0 if I use it. So that lets me know if I've used my Spell Trigger or not. That's why I keep track of it. And of course, resist. Need to have resist. That there's no other explanation there. I don't need to explain anything further. So if you run a 55 LMC suit, which is studded or bone, you're going to get 55 LMC. That makes your spells cost less. And you have focus, which means you have greater mana regen. And I think it is 1 to 10. So every 1 to 20. Every 20 points of focus you have, it should be 1 mana regen. So that is very good. So you have an extra like 10 mana regen right there. With focus. It's fantastic. You very rarely run out of mana on a Mystic unless you have no resist and you're getting mana vamped or mana drained all the time. And if you're consistently, and I mean consistently, just casting Flame Strike over and over and over again. But there's really no situation for that. And of course, like I did state earlier, you can run Wrestle, can run Parry. So, of course, Wrestle is for disarm, and you could use Parablow. I don't think I have the cuffs. Yeah. So, you could run Wrestling, and with Wrestling, it gives you an advantage against any Dexter type. So, if there's a one-tile Dexter that's like right next to me, say this Manic right here, he's a little red, kind of fucking angry. Say he comes up to me, okay, and I will just have Disarm available. I can just disarm his fucking weapon. He just walks up to me, he's disarmed. And that's why the 45 hit chance is very crucial to have. If you have 0, you ain't hitting this man. And if you're defensive wrestling like Anatomy and you run 100 Anatomy, you can't disarm him. So he's just gonna be there in your face, flinging his D around, you know. And that's a big D. Look at that fucking thing. That thing's fucking huge. He's gonna be slinging that fucking thing in your face. You don't want that fucking thing in your face. Knock it out of his fucking hand. So put fucking Wrestling on your goddamn template. Put Wrestling. It's so good to have. You will need 20 swing speed on your suit if you want to swing your fist at max. Why do they put this in the game? I have no idea. 0. You're catching these hands regardless at 0 swing speed. So if you want to catch them even faster, Put 20 swing speed on your suit, and you'll swing at max. Right now, I'm swinging at like 1.75. 20 swing speed, you're swinging a second and a quarter. You're throwing hands with everybody. Doesn't matter if you're dismounted. It doesn't matter if you're on mount. Doesn't matter if you're on a polar bear. You be riding a dragon. You dismounting these fuckers. You taking this big D out of his hand. My D now. Anyway, this is the template for a Mystic Mage. Ideally, you want to run 120 everything. Of course, that's not going to happen. So you're going to have to compensate somewhere. So you can drop. Usually, if you're not running a minus mage weapon in your hand, you can drop magery to 110 and it's not going to kill you. You're not casting in PvP. You're not casting 8 circle spells. The only thing you're casting is res and maybe an energy vortex every now and then. It very rarely calls for these situations, and even at 110 you can still cast these. Even at 105 you can still cast these. So there's just not very many situations where you would use an circle spell. Let's look at the suit. Let's dive into Ukiyota's suit here. There's always some bases that you want to touch. And those bases are easily 25 hit point. I don't know if you can see it in the bottom left corner here. 25 hit point increase, mana regen, hit point regen, and then max LMC, max LRC, max hit point regen, max mana regen, and 25 hit point increase. And if you can, 20 swing speed on the suit. Obviously I don't have it. 2 fast cast with shield in hand. 6 recovery on a only casting template where you just got magery mysticism. You need 6 fast cast recovery. There is no excuse. You need 6 fast cast recovery. I do not know how you get it. I don't care how you get it. There is a couple new items in the game. Let me see if I have it on my mannequin. I don't. There's a couple new items in the game. I'll put it up here on the screen. It's the chest piece that gives you 20 LRC, 8 LMC, regens, hit point increase, recovery, and it gives you SDI bonus. It's very good. That should be one of your starting pieces. So that should be your starting piece. If you can get the bones of the Arch Lich, those would be a great starting piece. They are really expensive right now. They're like 500 mil. Crazy. If you can get these, those are very good to have. So you should be starting off with that chest piece, that recovery chest piece, the cuffs of the Archmage, and that should be your base. You should run it at that, build around that. After you get your chest piece and these cuffs, get your jewels. So you would get your ring, get your bracelet, however many skill, whatever you need. It could be anatomy, it could be wrestling, it could be anything. Anything here does not have to be real skill. Anatomy doesn't even have to be real skill. If you do the defensive wrestling, anything can be usable. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 7 things to get on a jewel. You have so much options. You're like right here on this bracelet. I have 45 skill total. You can get 45 skill on one jewel, maybe 60, if you're lucky to find it out there on the vendor search. If you're lucky, or if you're even lucky to farm it. Hey, props to you. But you can find that, throw it on your character, build around that jewel. It's got the 45 skill, it's got the fast cast recovery, the enhanced potions, and the 3 mana. Can't go wrong with that. Everybody loves more mana regen. Doesn't matter if you're a Dexter, doesn't matter if you're a mage. Doesn't matter if you're a tamer. Oh yeah, all kill. Still need mana regen. So, get one jewel that's kind of pimped out like this one is. And then from that point forward, build around that suit. So get one jewel, get your chest piece, get this, build around it. As well as artifacts are easy to find too. This one, I'll be honest, I didn't even need this thing. I could add the Mage Mark of Travesty, the plus 10 eval, plus 10 magery one. I'll put a picture on that screen. I could run that and add more skill. But you know what I said? I said, nah, I don't need that. Give me 45 hit chance. I want to hit these motherfuckers. I want to disarm them. Get that D out their hand. You know what I'm saying? They're holding their D all the time. Disarm them. Get out their hand. You don't want to get slapped with that. It hurts. So you're going to need 25. Just going to go over this again. 25 hit point increase, all potted. So you're at 150. 25 hit point increase. You have 150 hit points. Very good. So you can take more damage. You can take more hits. 85 dex, or 80 dex at least when you're cursed. So that way you can parry and you can disarm a lot more often. Your intelligence comes into play slightly with your regens. So per 10 intelligence increases your regens, I think, and then it also increases your spell damage. So the higher your intelligence, at 150 intelligence, you get increased spell damage. You can get that thing to 150, you'll have a bigger mana pool, and you'll do more damage with your spells. Very good to have as well. 45 hit chance, of course. With a studded suit, you can drop your defense chance increase from 45 to about 40. You could even go lower than that. I would honestly take it lower than that. I'd probably go lower to 35. I just haven't updated that suit in a while. I will go through all the suit pieces in a second. 35 DCI would be fine. You can even drop it to 30, but I wouldn't go lower. You can swap them out for the faster cast recovery 3 sleeves, which are these guys. Oh, not those guys. Uh-oh. Oh, I ain't got them. Looks like we're putting another picture on the screen. So you can swap them out for the faster cast recovery ones, and you can run that, but you would have to worry about spell damage increase on your jewel. Well, yeah, you would. You would have to worry about spell damage increase on your jewel, which you would need 15. And then the chest piece, the 5 spell damage increase chest piece would put you at 20. And then if you run the faster casting robe, which are also expensive right now, like 500 mil, somewhere around there. These guys. Oops. You put one of those on, you'll be at spell damage increase. And if you ever decide to add inscribe to your template, you'd be at spell cap, which would be 25 spell damage. 2 faster casting, 6 recovery. Of course, you want that. And then you come over to your resist. This is a little bit more in-depth thing. This is going to be a separate video if you want to know how to get these. But you increase, if you already know, good for you. If you don't, I'll make a separate video on it. Just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll show you what he has. So go ahead and take his robe off. Getting a little cold with that robe off. You know what I'm saying? All right. Like I did say earlier, you want all these as much as you get. So this is what he looks like potted. Let's cover some baselines here. And those baselines are, of course, 45 hit chance, which he does have. 40 DCI, which he does have. So, and then 2-6, which he does have with the robe on. And then a reactive parachute with DCI and all this other good shit. And let's take a look at his artifacts and what he does have on. So here's his jewels. 30 usable skill, 10 dex bonus, 4 mana regen, 25 enhanced potions, defense chance increase, 3 recovery. So he gets 3 recovery out the way. Fantastic. Bracelet, same thing. Got 45 skill. That's awesome. All the skill is usable. More mana regen. Even better. Enhanced potions. So we're at 50 enhanced potions. That is covered. 1-3. So you're 1 fast cast, 3 recovery. We're at 6 recovery and 1 fast cast. That's amazing. That's what I'm talking about. T-Sash, because you want the intelligence, you want the mana regen, and it gives a nice LRC bonus. There is a thing called the Ardio's Vine Wrap. That is a good one to have, but I think they're better if you don't have like casting on your jewels here. Like say you have 4 recovery on this ring, you could run the Ardio's Vine Wrap and the cape. I'm sorry, the Ardio's Vine Wrap and the chest piece, because the chest piece gives recovery, and you'd be at 2-6, and you could free up a recovery slot on your bracelet. It's very good to have. It opens up the market. Diving in a little bit more, we'll look at his chest piece. His chest piece is very nice. It is 20 LRC, 10 LMC, very high mana regen, very high hit point regen, and Fire Eater. Here are the gloves I was talking about. If you don't have these, they're very good. I would try to get a pair. They are 20 LRC, 10 LMC, bunch of regens, bunch of stat increase, and Fire Eater. Now your Eater cap is 30 on individual Eaters. So like your kinetic, your physical, your cold, your poison eaters, your energy eaters. That has a 30 eater cap. So with the Gloves of the Archlich and the chest piece, I'm sitting at 27 fire eater, which is not over the cap, which is fine. Cuffs of the Archmage, like I said, these are a very good thing to have in your suit. They give you 4 mana regen, 15 skill, and spell damage increase. The only thing that sucks, you do not have LRC or LMC. His Gorget is very nice, 20 and 10, 20 LRC, 10 LMC, good regens, good int bonus, and then he also has an eater on it as well. His bone leggings could use some improvement, but hey, it is what it is. It's super outdated. He's got 25 and 10, you know, for the 40 LMC, and then got some nice regens, and it's got the 8 stam as well. So that way he can hit 90 stam and he can swing just a little faster. And then the Minak sandals, can't go wrong with these either. They're 10 LRC, 5 LMC. You could go a little bit different route, and you can go, if you're having some trouble with your jewels, you could find these boots. You can use the Annon's boots, which are give you 10 defense chance increase and 5 hit chance. These would be very good if you're running a defense chance or the defensive template with anatomy. You ain't gotta worry about hit chance, so just throw these bad boys on. Yeah, the Shanties Waiters, Shanties Wanderers, whatever they're called, they give you 10 hit chance, but they subtract 5 DCI, which are also good if you're struggling with hit chance and you got DCI on your suit, because you're going to be dropping your resist anyway from 45 defense chance. You'll be fine there. And then I do run the Solaria's Secret Poisons, which is the 10 hit chance. I do not use Ninja. I just use the 10 hit chance. And then I use the Orc Chieftain Helm, which gives me the 40 hit chance. And then I also use the Clickable Quiver, gives me another 5 hit chance. So that gives me 45. And then on top of that, I have the Slither. So that's very good. It gives you 10 defense chance increase, 10 hit point increase, and regens. Can't go wrong with that, you know? And then all of the suit, that's 10 hit point increase. Oh, here it is. And then the Crimson Cincture, which also gives you another 10 hit point increase, so that's 20. And then it gives you dex bonus, so that's 20. And then the Gloves of the Archlich gives me another 5 hit point increase, and it gives me 25 hit point increase. Absolutely fantastic. It is very well built. It could be improved, definitely by the legs. And that is going to be what you need on the suit then. I mean, that's really it. Like I did state earlier in the video, I could take this off and run the Mark of Travesty for the 20 skill. I think that's why it was like that before. 10 and 10. So if I did want to put it on, he'd be at 120, 120, all the way around. With the armor that is out now. But that is going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope I covered all your bases. If you have any questions, please send me any questions you may have through Discord, or you can also leave a comment down below. I will get to it as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Charlie Phantom, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video, and we'll be ranking them in the tier list.